How's it going, everyone? We have a housing market update today from myself, Nick at Reventure Consulting, and I'm going to show you guys the real-time data on home prices and inventory and price cuts in your city because we're seeing some big changes happen in the housing market right now. Mid-June, entering late June, we're really seeing the market kind of fall off. Um, the spring buyer season is over. So naturally, there's fewer buyers in the market more and more as we head into the summer. But at the same time, the inventory and listings are starting to pile up. So we're really starting to see some price declines actually in a lot of different markets. Many of the real estate experts earlier in the year they said this wouldn't happen. They were predicting that buyer demand would rebound and the prices would keep going up. Well, that is now changing. I'm going to show you guys in this video what's going on. Let's start here looking at Reventure app. And I want to show you guys just the trends in inventory. And we're actually going to look at the state level inventory trends because this is very important for you all to understand how much inventory is going up in your market. And you can see inventory is going up everywhere, but especially in a place like Arizona. Inventory in Arizona is up 68% year over year. We also have inventory up 70% in Florida, 42% in Texas. South Carolina and Georgia, it's up close to 50%. So pretty much every state except for Nevada and South Dakota, where inventory is declining, all the other states have increasing inventory, which is good news for you as a buyer. And really the thing to understand and look at, like in the case of Arizona, is when you see the inventory spike up to a level that it really hasn't been at in 4 or 5, maybe 6 years, that's the sign of a shift in the market. Fewer buyers, more sellers, likelihood that prices are going to go down. The Reventure app home price forecast score for Arizona is a 41 out of 100. Based on the trends in days on the market, inventory, and price cuts. I'm expecting prices in Arizona to go down. I'm also expecting prices in a market like Florida to go down. I mean, in Florida, the inventory is just jumping off the page, right? I mean, this inventory spike in Florida, we haven't seen anything like this again in like 5 years. And so, we know that the prices in Florida went way up due to this low inventory. So what happens now that the inventory is, let's say, back to normal, and very soon it will be above normal? I mean, I think prices in Florida have a far way to fall. And I'm going to cover even more states and cities for you guys in this housing market update. I think it's important for you all to have a handle on the real-time trends in your housing market because these skyrocketing inventory levels are a signal of a market downturn. Make no mistake. And I would really be careful if you live in a city or a neighborhood where the inventory is spiking. Because like what we're seeing right now in some areas is the inventory is going up so fast that it's almost like how do you even how would you even make sense of that market? Inventory doubles in a year. You almost don't know where the downside is, how much downside there is. And so I would encourage a lot of you guys to tread carefully, particularly if you're in some of these cities, everyone. So let's go back here to Reventure app and look at price cuts. We're looking at the states with the most price cuts. Let's actually look at the cities with the most price cuts. We're going to change this to the Metro view on Reventure app. And one area I want to hone in on is Nashville. Nashville, we could see the price cut rate, the percentage of total listings that had a price reduction in each month, according to data from Realtor.com, was at a low of 9.5% in May 2021, is now up to 30% in May 2024. So look at this, folks. We've never seen this level of price cuts in Nashville before. That's an indication that prices could be dropping. And it's these areas in red which have the highest price cut rate. And you can see it's a lot of Sun Belt, Southeast, down to Florida, Texas, as well as mountain states like Colorado and Utah. Lots of sellers cutting the prices in these areas. And, when there's lots of sellers cutting the prices, again, that's a signal of a downturn. And I know some people say, will say, oh, well, the price cuts aren't that big, or a seller's still asking a crazy price, so it doesn't matter. I see some people in the comment section say that they don't really think price cuts are a useful indicator, but actually it's the most useful indicator. Price cut rate is the most predictive indicator of the future direction of prices in a market. And the reason is because when you have, like, say, 5,000, 10,000 listings across the market, like say in Denver, there's total inventory of 12,000 listings in May. 4,300 had a price cut. 36% price cut rate. Highest price cut rate since 2017. And so when you have 12,000 listings in a month and 5,000 people cut the price. That's not sellers playing games at that sample size, right? Like some people might be tempted to say, oh, like on an individual listing or a couple listings, sellers could play games and try to cut the price to get buyers in. Yeah, but across an entire market, over 10,000 listings, if there's a big spike in price cuts, that's the signal of seller desperation. And that's the signal of downward pressure in the market. So if you're a buyer or an investor trying to understand the areas that are going to drop, look at that price cut rate and see how much it's going up and see how it compares to the historical norms. Because that's going to give you key insight into where the market is heading in the second half of 2024. And so we have price cut rate. We also have other data points here on Reventure app like days on the market, median listing price. A lot of these data points come from Realtor.com. We also have a score here, folks, the Reventure app home price forecast score. And if you guys haven't checked this out yet, I would really encourage you to do it because this score is going to really help you understand the potential risk factors and direction of your market. And so like if we go to Dallas, everyone, let's take a look at Dallas. And we can see the home price forecast score is now at 39, which is the lowest it's been in the last 7 years. And it's declining. Like it keeps declining, the home price forecast, into a buyer's market. So Dallas is in a buyer's market, everyone. That's what this home price forecast graph means. We're in a buyer's market in Dallas. Now, that doesn't mean it's affordable. That doesn't mean it feels cheap. It just means that the trends in appreciation, days on the market, inventory, and price cuts, as well as mortgage rates, are shifting in the buyer's favor and starting to shift in the buyer's favor significantly. So when you look at this graph on the home price forecast score, whether it's Dallas or your city or zip code, understand that when you see it like this, 39, heavily below a score of 50, this is a declining market. It's getting better for you as a buyer. Conversely, you could see in Dallas in 2021, 2022, it was a seller's market. The score got up to a 76 and then fell off a cliff, right? So this is a really powerful tool, everyone. This home price forecast score, to be clear, it's not like a perfect indicator, 100% of where prices are heading, but it takes all of those real-time data points that matter, right? Inventory, price cuts, days on the market, and combines them. So you as a buyer and investor can just kind of have an easy way of assessing which direction the market's going now and into the future. And what I think is really interesting, everyone, is if you get on here, you can see there's huge differences in the home price forecast across America. The bluer it is, the bluer the area is, the more likely the prices drop. The redder it is, the more likely the prices go up. And you can see actually quite a few areas in America where Reventure app is projecting the prices will still go up. But what's really fun, everyone, is when you open up a specific city, like say we go to Miami, you can see actually that there's big differences in home price forecast and the trends in the market depending on where you go in these cities, right? And so like certain parts of Southwest Miami, near the University of Miami, Coral Gables, down to Kendall, we have scores of 57, 58, still suggesting an upward trajectory in some of these zip codes. But then if we just head further up north into Aventura, Hollywood, further up into Broward County and Fort Lauderdale, we can see downward price pressure, downward home price forecast. So you as a buyer and investor, it's not only important for you to know it for your city, you got to know it for your zip code neighborhood. Because there's big differences going on. I mean, I'm going to show you another one actually, everyone. Let's actually look at San Francisco. Because the San Francisco Bay Area has been a fascinating one. We still have downward forecasts here in downtown San Francisco and Oakland. I mean, heavy downward forecasts actually in a lot of these zip codes. So these areas have already gone down. They're still going down, right? But then if you just go a little bit like to further south in the East Bay to Fremont, you're seeing scores of 62, or if we're out here in Pleasanton, a score of 60, right? And so this is really important to look at this data. Of course, if you go to San Jose, you could see we're in red in most parts of San Jose, upward price pressure. And so, I know there's some people out there in the Bay Area, you're saying different things about the housing market. One person says it's going up, another person says it's going down. Why is that? Well, it depends on your neighborhood. And ultimately, my mission here with both Reventure Consulting and Reventure App is to help educate all of you as buyers and investors and home sellers, actually too, so you can make a more educated decision about your house, selling it, buying it, your investment property. These are massive financial decisions, everyone, and they should not be taken lightly. They should not be taken without understanding all the data and the trends in the market, so you can basically make a more informed decision, which will help you avoid losing money and make more money in the long run. But how about some projections, everyone, for the rest of this year, right? Some more macro level housing market projections. I think, there's conflicting reporting still on the housing market, right? Like, I'm showing you guys very clearly that the market's heading down in a lot of different cities and states, for at least half of America, right? Meanwhile, there's still headlines about home prices going up from other sources, right? And so what's going to happen for the rest of 2024 and what are the trends to look out for? Well, one trend to look out for is mortgage rates, right? We can see the mortgage rates have started to go down a little bit in the last couple weeks. They haven't really gone down to a level that's, I would say, good for buyers, but due to some kind of negative economic news, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate has now gone down to 6.99%. So it was at like 7.4, now it's down to 6.99. And I don't think that's going to get too many of you excited to go buy a house, but there has been a little bit of relief on mortgage rates. And I think what we'll see is incrementally more relief on mortgage rates throughout the rest of the year as it becomes obvious that the economy is slowing, right? We see more and more reports out of the economy that aren't so great. Unemployment rate going up, job openings going down. The more you see that, the more it's realistic to expect that interest and mortgage rates will start to edge down as the market begins to price in some type of recession, right? I think that's kind of what I'm looking for throughout the rest of 2024. Another thing to pay attention to, folks, are the leading indicators of home buyer demand. We talk a lot about mortgage applications on this channel as a leading indicator, how many people are applying for mortgages. So, if you're trying to track the market and be ahead of the market, look at that mortgage application data. But interestingly, there's some other sources too that I want to show you guys. One comes from Redfin in particular. They have actually, they have an article here. Home sales fell to one of the lowest levels on record in May. This is interesting. Oh boy. Look at this home sale chart from Redfin. I mean, you could see that the buyer demand in the market is it's just really, really tough. Interestingly, they have this graph here, percentage of active listings with price drops, and you can see that we're getting to a level here on the price drops pretty soon that's going to be close to the highest level in the last decade if we continue on this trajectory of price drops here. So, look, interesting data from Redfin. But really, I wanted to actually show you their leading indicator. They have something called the Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index. And basically, this is basically the amount of people going on Redfin and asking for information on houses and support from their realtors. And let me show you what this looks like. Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index down 18% year over year. I mean, you could see it's down not only 18% year over year. I mean, it's down probably 40%, maybe 35% from where it was at the pandemic peak in 2021. And so this is a little concerning, everyone, because the buyer traffic is just plummeting. And that suggests that the next 3 months is like going to get tougher for sellers and that we're not going to see the buyers really come back in. With the leading indicators looking like that. And of course, things can change, but mortgage applications, Redfin Buyer Demand Index, both really low, inventory going up, price cuts skyrocketing. All these things suggest that the housing downturn is back in full force and probably even heavier than it was 2 years ago, in my estimation, in a lot of different cities. So you got to stay on top of this data if you're a home buyer or investor. So what I would suggest you guys do to do that is head to www.reventure.app. We used a lot of information from Reventure app in this video. This is kind of your number one source for getting data on the housing market, everyone. It's out there and available to all of you. And I would really encourage you, check out that home price forecast score for your state, for your metro area as well, and of course your zip code, so you could see the trends in your market. Also check out the inventory levels. The inventory data point is actually a free data point, as well as the inventory growth data point. You're going to want to see how inventory is growing in your market. This will be a key indication if your market's going to go up or down. You can see in Houston, like, we have just like some zip codes where inventory is up 179% year over year. I mean, if inventory is up 179% in your zip code, I mean, geez, I mean that's crazy. I mean, look at this, everyone. If this is going on in your zip code, prices are going to go down. I'm sorry, like prices are going to drop if the inventory is doing this type of crazy stuff. And so you got to look at that inventory. You got to look at that price cut rate, and really those metrics will help benchmark where your area is heading, and they are all available under a premium membership on Reventure app. So Reventure app is $39 a month. It's that's going to get you access to the 30 or 40 premium data points, advanced filtering, sortable lists, ability to download data into Excel, all the home price forecast scores. And if you're someone who wants actually a discount, you'll be using it for a little while, sign up for that annual pass. You can save 15% on the monthly cost on the annual pass, so you'll get a good discount there. Would really encourage you guys to jump on this now, because the housing market here is shifting really, really fast, particularly if you're in a lot of these Sunbelt markets. You're going to want to know what's going on. So hope you guys enjoyed this update video on my housing market reports channel. I'm going to be doing more of these in the future. See you all soon.